And we're up. So, we are back, and we are back specifically with our playtest of Aces Wild, a modern heist Blades in the Dark hack, styled after shows like Lupin, Lupin the Third, and movies like The Italian Job, Ocean's 11, and all of its assorted spin offs and sequels. It's a little bit brighter and campier than Blades in the Dark, and has a semi modern setting, but with just a touch of retro aesthetic and a swing bossa nova soundtrack. So, we picked up with our band of scoundrels, a crew called the Coyotes, a group of smugglers working out off the coast of Florida. We have Shep, the old dog, a veteran scoundrel with lots of experience and connections. We have, pulling up character sheets, we have Greg, the technician, a hardcore hacker who is all about manipulating technology and machinery to stay ahead of the opposition. And tonight, one of our NPCs, Frank, has been taken over and is now a trigger, a marksman who helps to protect the party. So, our story thus far. The Coyotes were contacted by a thief named Kaylee, one of their sort of regular customers, Kaylee Northen. And Kaylee has just stolen the Manganiello collection. Five magnificent 19th century landscapes. Individually valuable, but as a collection, exceptionally valuable. Kaylee stole them from Veldis T. Osbolin III, the last scion of an old steel tycoon family based out of Chicago. What she failed to mention, and Shep failed to notice during the initial conversation, Kaylee left something out. Osbolin pays protection to the Mitchell crime family, the powerful criminal organization that basically runs the Chicago criminal scene. So, our band of intrepid scoundrels took the Manganiello collection and were acting as middlemen, delivering it to Dalton Dellin, a shady lawyer and middleman who was purchasing it on behalf of a client. They agreed to meet up on a massive floating luxury liner called the Marianne, which happens to be hosting a huge poker tournament. The group got on board successfully. They had the crates smuggled into the hold. So the whole collection is now encased in this basically 5 by 5 by 5 protective cube. Each painting carefully protected and insulated. However, our technician discovered that the crate was being moved. Somebody was messing with it down with the hold. Our party of scoundrels rushed down to the hold, bypassing quite a bit of security, and found 3 members of the Mitchell crime family there to retrieve the stolen goods. So, to set the stage, the technician, along with Renee the thief, their cohort, are up the hallway. They were briefly slowed down by a misstep. They're a little bit away from the rest of the group. Shep, our old dog, along with Frank and Larry, the muscle and the trigger, have gone up hoping to sort of talk their way out of this. Unfortunately, one of the men here is Lionel Mitchell, a well-known member of the Mitchell family who has recognized Shep on sight, saying, "There, that's him." And this is where we pick up. We have this sort of tense standoff. There are 3 members of the Mitchell family, a young man in his 20s, a man sort of middle age, and then Lionel, who's looks maybe 50-ish. They're all wearing sort of fine suits. And they have turned and have some pretty hostile bearing. Shep, Frank, and Larry are immediately in their line of sight. The technician and Renee are down the hall. What do you all want to do?
Uh, since I have man in the chair, can I do like I don't know, do some kind of like radio, like hack their radios and make it do like a squelch loud noise that'll distract them, or would I
Yes.
have something in the crate like I don't know, that tracker chip, like would I have some kind of noise it could make that would distract them?
So this is a great moment to do a flashback. You are perfectly capable
Okay.
of doing this. We need to establish how you know what's going on. So
Well,
flashbacks. Go ahead.
oh yeah, I was gonna say I was figuring that since I help oh man, I forgot his name. Uh
Shep.
yes, Ship with I always want to call him Wiley, but
His criminal
I help him.
alias.
Yes, that is my alias.
True. Uh, I always want to. I help him with his phone and stuff. I probably have some kind of app tracker thing on there that I can use to just kind of listen and know what's going on.
Yeah. So Aces Wild is built on the Blades in the Dark system, and one of the best thing Blades in the Dark does is the flashback. Other systems basically require players to be as smart as their characters. So if you want to be a foresighted wizard who knows what's going to happen, you need to plan for it you yourself, the player, up front. Blades in the Dark recognizes that's really hard. Instead, they have the flashback system. Basically, you can rewind and do something in the past that affects the present, as long as it doesn't change something irretrievably that's already happened. So in this case, this is something that's very reasonable, something that makes sense for you to have done. So this is going to be a zero chip flashback. You don't have to pay anything for it. So we just see a moment. Well, we've established that Shep's phone is what, like an iPhone 3 or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Really old iPhone.
Yeah, it's a smartphone, but it's old.
I'm going to add that to your list here. iPhone 3. So we've established ancient phone. So we have a flashback, and we see Jerry working on this phone. And are you telling Shep that you're doing this?
I figured I'd probably confuse him too much, so I didn't bother explaining that part to him.
All right. So we're sort of looking over Jerry's shoulder as he is updating this very old phone. I think it doesn't update on its own anymore. You have to like jury rig the updates to make
Yeah.
it function. And as you do this, we see you just sort of slip in some program that basically is like a nanny cam for his phone. So we realize that the whole time you have had an earpiece feeding you audio of the situation in this room. So, what does Jerry use to hack into this device?
Okay. Well, if I'm trying to hack into their radios, I'd have to. I'd probably have to use the like the radio on uh Wiley's phone to like find whatever frequency they're using.
Yeah, so you might have something in your equipment to help you out here. Um, Remember, you don't have to hit any equipment until you
Oh,
actually
yes,
use
right.
it. So
All the databases. But
maybe
yeah,
your fine hacking tools.
so yeah, that'd probably be the most likely.
So you just mark that, and you now have one load. So you have two load left. Um, so you're able to pull something out. And what's the goal here? You're hacking in, and you want what to happen?
Um, well, I'm hoping they have earpieces, but even if it's just a radio like on the hip or something, it just make it do that loud squelch noise that might hurt their ears or at the very least distract them enough that they aren't going to be able to just accurately shoot at.
Oh, it'd be really simple and already built into their phones. You set off one of those like emergency services alarms, like a
Yes,
tornado warning kind of thing.
right.
So you're going to try to do this. Let's get a tinker roll. So this is going to be. I'm going to say that this is controlled in the sense that you will not have any immediate negative ramifications. Also, we need to turn you down just a little. You're echoing.
I will say, yeah, I keep messing with the audio, yeah, because it gets too quiet and then I can't hear you guys.
So I go with the headphones.
Yeah, I know. I need to find my headphones and start using them.
Yeah, so this is controlled, standard effect. Although I'm willing, because you're using your fine hacking tools, let's bump this up to great effect. You're going to catch them by surprise. You have a specialized tool for it. So this is controlled and great effect. This is about as good as a draw gets. So, how many dots do you have in Tinker?
Let's see. In Tinker, I have two.
All right, give me two draw.
Let's see. Okay, I'll leave it at 1, 2.
All right, 5 and a 9. We don't have any poker hands here. We do have a 9 high card, which means that I'm going to turn you down a little. So we have a 9 high card, which means that that is a mixed success. So I think what's going to happen is you cause a distraction, but here's what happens. The distraction is also going to distract Larry. He is not focused. So you all are just standing there in this tense standoff, and then suddenly that comes out of all of their phones at the same time. They scramble to grab their phones, and Larry goes, "Huh?" and is like checking his phone to make sure it works. All right, who wants to move
I
next?
hate to give more of a disadvantage to us, but Shep checks his too.
Oh
He
no.
he he does not realize that it is everyone else's phone. He 100% thinks it's just his.
I forgot to turn his alarm off for his pit.
What's it
Yep.
called when it's a senior who's missing? Is that a silver alert or a golden alert?
Yeah, silver alert. Yeah.
Yeah, Shep's like, it could be a silver alert. It could be one of my friends.
Can I go check on him?
Yeah, I 100. Sorry. I gotta take this. I gotta and 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 the worst part is that he doesn't even know where his phone is.
So he's just
He's
like checking pockets.
yeah, he's patting himself all over, reaching in, um, and there's a strong possibility that he just has his phone in his hand already and is forgetting that it's there.
All right. Then let's jump over to Frank. What is Frank doing?
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's all right. Just think heist movie. You have a tense
So
standoff. These guys just got distracted. Some of your own team got distracted. What are you gonna do?
Oh, Frank is very high strung, and he would just go like guns blazing and just start firing.
All right. Then that sounds like a skirmish draw, which you should be very good at. So I'll go ahead and tell you two other things you can do as well. You always have the option to raise. So when you raise, you throw in 2 chips, but you get to draw an extra card. So here's the cool thing. This game has a sort of a gambling system built into it. There's a reason that they're chips. So you can raise to have greater effect or an additional draw. When you do that, it goes into the pot. If you were then to draw a pair or higher, which would be the equivalent of like a critical or better, you can actually get those chips back.
Sounds like something Frank would do.
All right. So let's bust your 5 and give you some change. I started you at 6. Normally you'd start at 8. But we're a little ways into our heist now. So you've put 2 chips in. That'll give you an extra draw. You can also always do what's called a devil's bargain. Devil's bargain, there's 2 versions in this game. Either I can offer you a specific negative thing that will happen no matter what. If you agree, you get an extra draw. So it might be that you destroy a piece of equipment, that you take some harm, that you cause a heat, which draws interest from other factions in the long term. Or I can just straight up take some chips and add them to my pool, which I can dole out later to mess with you guys. So just to know that it's an option.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So you have skirmish 2, and you have also raised. So that is 3 draw.
Does it matter which deck I am?
You can do the upper right one.
And you click it once
Click
to
on
turn it
once
over.
yeah.
Ooh. So aces are wild, which means you definitely get a pair. All right. So normally an ace by itself is a hard miss. Normally a 4 by itself would be a hard miss. But because you pulled a pair, this is going to be a critical success. So you're going to get your chips back.
Doesn't he get to draw 3?
Oh, yeah, and he gets to draw 1 more. All right, so that is a pair of queens. So you get your chips back. Can you all grab the chips?
You should be able to, yeah.
Cool. So you can grab your 2 chips and take those back. And that is a critical success. What weapon are you going to sort of go guns blazing with?
Pistols.
All right. So you can go ahead and mark that on your fine pair of pistols under your load. So now we know you're using those. Because they are fine, we're going to say that those are going to have greater potency. So yeah, here's what happens. Jerry is hacking away on his phone. He triggers this silver alert on everyone's phone. The 3 Mitchells all look down and are distracted. Unfortunately, so is Shep. But you are not distracted. From seemingly nowhere, just you have 2 pistols in your hand. In your hands, not hand. That'd be awkward. And you are just guns blazing. So, are you shooting to kill or to disable?
Having no context like leading up to this, I'm gonna say disable.
All right. So, yeah, I think on a critical success, I think instantly you're going to be able to pop 2 of these guys. I think maybe you get the young guy in the shoulder, and he instantly like clutches his shoulder. He is somewhat incapacitated. You're also going to catch this middle-aged guy. We're going to say like in the leg. A very distracting amount of being shot. All right. So they're still distracted for a second. What is Shep doing?
Um, I hear the gun go off, and I look up, surprised, just distracted from my phone. Um, and which one did you shoot?
So he shot the 20-ish and the 40-ish.
Were either of those the one who spoke to me?
No.
Okay. Did those guys go down, or how does damage work in this?
So in this case, we're going to say that both of them were. They're not dead. They could theoretically do something later, but they are in bad shape.
So they're like on the ground and not no
Yes.
longer an immediate threat.
Yes. You're certainly gonna see them coming.
Okay. Then I'm just going to which one are you calling, Frank or Larry?
Frank.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at Frank. I'm gonna give you a little finger guns and go, good job, Frank. And then I'm gonna take a step or two towards the gentleman who spoke to me, and I'm gonna say, you said I recognize him.
Yes.
What's his name, or would I know that?
Yes. Lionel Mitchell.
Lionel. Okay, I'm gonna step up and say, Lionel, fancy seeing you here. What are you doing with my stuff? Um, and I'm gonna look, give a little glance to the guys on the ground. I'm gonna say, and I'll say, it seems like you've come into a bad situation.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and set the tone for this with a draw. Are you consorting, commanding, or swaying here?
Um, I I want to say consorting, but let me see what I'm better at. Um, yeah, I'm good at consorting and swaying. That is to say, I have one pip in both. So let's go with consorting.
All right. I'm going to say that you have. This is risky, but it is going to have great effect because, hey, his two boys just got laid out.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it kind of with like a a nonchalance, but also a bit of
Undertone of
confident
menace.
swagger, like like I'm in control, even though I don't really know what's going on. So did I just draw one?
Yep.
I got an 8.
All right. On an 8, I think that Lionel is definitely going to hesitate. This situation went from okay to very bad very quick.
Um, before we continue, can I do the play the board ability and spend 2 chips to put a table card out?
Absolutely.
I want to do that because I feel like this is an important
That is a
thing.
nice table card.
Yep. So now basically we all have a king we can use whenever we need to.
And just to clarify, table cards are for the purpose of building hands. They don't affect the actual like success spread, if that makes sense. So it's not like you always have a success now, but like if you draw an ace, you have a pair of kings instead of a fail, if that makes sense.
And when we use it, it doesn't go away. It
Doesn't
stays
go
out
away.
there for the duration of the scene.
This is sort of the mechanical manifestation of Shep using his experience to assist everyone else. All right. Yeah. So you got a mixed success. He is definitely going to hesitate. This went real bad, real fast. Here's what I'm going to say. Would how much of the has Shep figured out what's going on here?
In what sense do you mean that?
Like, why are the Mitchells here going after the paintings?
Uh, yes, I do think that once he saw them, he would make that connection, and he may not fully understand a like all the implications or whatever, but he would know that, oh, these are the people she stole from.
All right. Yeah, so Shep is an old shark. He is putting this together. Lionel says, "Look, Shep, you know the game. We can't let somebody come and steal from one of our clients on our turf without our say."
And I would respond with, I get that. If you had come to me first, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have been involved. But as it stands, I've taken a contract. You know, like as you said, you know the game. Once the contract's taken, I have to stand by it. I'll give you this chance. Your boys are down. Just step away and take this up with the guy we're selling to. Once we're off this boat, my hands are clean. You can do whatever it is you need to do.
Um, Lionel is clearly frustrated. Um, you know that like Lionel's like a lieutenant in the family. Basically, his great uncle runs the Mitchells, so he's high enough up that he has a little sway. But like somebody told him to come here. He looks back and forth. I think there's still like a little bit of smoke coming from the barrel of Frank's gun. His two companions are like on the ground, like, ugh.
Let let me put it to you this way, Lionel. We're on a boat. You've got nowhere to run. You take this, and where are you going to go? You got nowhere to be. And while we're here, I know you're here. My crew knows you're here. We'll be coming after you. And while we're on contract, we have to do that. Once I make the trade, once this other guy has his stuff, wait for the boat to dock, follow him, do your thing. I have no knowledge of it. It'll be easier for you to get away, and you won't have to deal with this guy. And I thumb over at Frank again.
So speaking of getting away, let's cut back to Jerry in the hallway. Jerry, so you hacked into this device. What are you and
Isn't his
Renee?
name Greg?
I think it's
Greg,
isn't it Greg Jerry?
Oh, right.
yeah,
Not confusing at all for the folks at home.
yes.
Yep, there it is. Greg Jerry with threes. So you hacked into this device in the hallway. There was a guard up the hall who you have managed to sort of. I think he didn't he turn you around. You said something like you were looking for a bathroom or something.
Yeah, we did the drunk partier ruse and
Oh yeah, yeah. You and Renee were kind of leaning on each other.
yes, yeah,
Um,
kind of implying that we were.
so you're kind of up the hallway a bit. You hear a lot of people moving with a real like boots on steel sound. What do you want to do?
um, find a way to warn Wiley and them. I guess I'll probably just like come in over the speakerphone on his phone, just be like, guys, you got some extra company coming.
Yeah, so you all hear this, and I think Jerry puts this together. You heard the gunshots. Someone is definitely coming to find out why there are gunshots down in the hold.
All right. Gunfire travels.
All right, so you all hear Jerry's voice cutting through. What do y'all want to do?
So, like, what do we hear Jerry doing?
So Jerry just yelled over your radio. What was it you said exactly?
Guys, you have extra company coming or something like that.
But we he can hear us, but can we hear him?
Yeah, I came in over the speakerphone on your phone.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, I would just
Sorry.
say too, he's the technician. Like, if he wants you to hear him, you hear him, unless you're deep in Amish country.
That's
Yeah.
that's fair. Um, so could the whole room hear that?
Yeah.
Y- well, I'll leave it up to you all. Do you all have like earpieces or something?
I was going to ask about that, but
I mean, if he came in over speakerphone,
I mean, would we think to have done earpieces ahead of time?
Remember, you don't have to do things ahead of time. You can just pull them out as you need them. So this is on the Google Doc under standard items. Oh, it's not listed, but we'll say it's there. For one load, communications equipment. If you want something more subtle than your smartphone. Otherwise, he can just straight up call you or use the speaker, and then everyone hears.
I'm gonna say that I probably did not. I would have relied on my crew to communicate with each other and then let me
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking is that maybe Frank and Larry have earpieces.
like kind of like president in the Secret Service, how the president doesn't have an earpiece, but his protection does. That way, I could theoretically get through like checks or whatever if I needed to, like pat downs or whatever.
Yeah. Um,
Um, but I like the idea of it coming out over speakerphone, just so I can be like, Lionel, did you hear that? We got we got security coming. So you gonna take my advice, or are we gonna have it out here and now?
I'm also resetting a clock. It is a four-part clock. Security incoming. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and mark one section. All right. So, voice comes out of the speakerphone. What do you want to do?
What does Lionel want to do?
Yeah, that basically I want to do what I
Okay,
just said. Be
you're
like,
asking.
Lionel, yeah, Lionel, you heard him. He doesn't know what's going on here. He has no way to know that we're fighting. He's just giving us a warning. So I can have Frank here, end it all, and the security will find you guys on the ground, or we can all just walk away. Your choice.
Give me a. I feel like this is command.
All right.
Mm,
I do feel like, yeah, I probably got more stern, less charismatic.
yes,
Um,
very
However,
commanding.
I have no pips in command.
I guess you could put two chips down to.
Someone else can also put in. Double check the cost. Someone can assist for 1 chip, which would at least put you up to a flat draw.
So
or
if I assist on that with my warning shot ability, that I'm holding a firearm, I have a +1 effect on command.
So in this case, you wouldn't actually roll. You would just do one. Oh, why do I suddenly have 5? I had 3 chips, right?
Yeah, you had 3,
Okay.
and there was
Um,
2 in the
I
pot.
I put my 5 chip to you because I needed to pay 2 to get my card on the table, and then
Alright.
and then I stole the 3 that were sitting out that I could steal.
So we want to keep those separate because those are ones I can spend to mess with you all. You don't want that pile to
Oh,
grow.
I thought those were there for us to exchange.
Nope. You
Uh,
can always
My bad.
copy and paste to make more chips.
My bad.
mhm.
So, yeah. So someone can give you 1 draw for 1 chip, or someone can, or you can do a devil's bargain if you want.
Can't I pay 2 chips to?
You can, but you do want to remember if you run out of chips, you are out of the heist.
And assist would be cheaper then.
All right, let's. Uh,
Yes,
do
an
I get
assist
to
would just be
know?
1, and it could come from one of you, other
Do I
than
get
him.
to know the devil's bargain before I
Yes.
make it?
The devil's bargain here is
Well, before you say it, do I get to know it before I make the bargain?
yes.
Okay.
So in this case, the devil's bargain is you can take an extra draw, but whether you convince him or not, because of yeah, whether you convince him or not, there's going to be additional heat as a consequence of this scene. And heat has long-term ramifications. Essentially, it's sort of like if you're playing Grand Theft Auto, the like wanted meter. The higher it gets, the more people are coming after you, and the scarier they are.
Yeah, the
Um,
harder it is to.
and the only way to get more chips is to rest essentially.
You can indulge your vice,
Oh, right.
which
Oh,
you do have. You were able to do that earlier, so you're in kind of a weird space where normally you don't have sort of mid heist downtime.
yeah.
But yeah, that would be an option. Yeah, I think that's about
Um,
all you've got at this point. You've
I,
sort of spent down your stamina bar here.
all right. No, I'm gonna spend 2 because I don't want anyone else to spend. We might need their skills more if things go poorly. So I'm gonna spend 2 and just draw regularly instead of with disadvantage.
All right,
I got a 7.
all right,
Mixed
7,
success.
mixed success.
Barely. Barely.
Oops, now I'm doing it. So on a 7, on a mixed success, you convince Lionel, but whether Shep realizes it or not, Lionel is not going to forgive him for this. He's going to get out of this current situation, but he is going to be a problem at some point later, whether it's on this heist or another. You have taken a bridge from neutral to burned.
Yeah, yeah. Shep's okay with that. He,
Uh,
Shep is under the impression that this will be his last job, so he doesn't care about future heists.
so more importantly, you're worrying about Lionel and his boys, but hey, those guards are still coming. On the way down here, you passed people in uniforms for Pillar Security Group, which is a pretty scary, almost like pseudo mercenary security company. And they are on their way quick. What do you all want to do, and are you going to help the Mitchells?
Yeah, I think we can all help each other get out of this. I think, and especially since Lionel's got two very injured bodyguards, he probably needs our help. So even though I have no idea what I'm going to do, I'll just when Lionel hesitates and sort of backs down, I'll give him a head nod, and I'll just say, "Follow my lead," and uh, help. I'll signal for Larry to help pick up one of the injured guys, and for Lionel to help pick up one of the injured guys, and get them to follow us.
All right. So persuading them, you've already kind of done. Now you'll have to actually get out of here. This
Yeah.
is the hold. How are you going to go about exiting?
Um.
And here's what I'll
Well, how
say.
many exits?
Yeah, here's what I'll say. There is no like one correct answer here. Um, so if you all think of a reasonable solution, we will roll, and that will help us determine, uh, how well you can exit.
Are Are we on the ocean?
Yes,
Are we
you all
on?
are not that far out of port.
Okay. How is it something where we're going to be uh traveling from one place to another, or are we coming back to the same place? And how long will we be on the ocean?
This is a relatively short trip because it is mostly for this poker tournament. I think it's like a 3 day slow run up the coast.
All right. Um. Yeah. Uh. Where were the thugs shot?
Shoulder and leg.
Do they look like bullet wounds?
I mean, yes, they got shot.
Uh, I was wondering if maybe we could play it off as them getting injured some other way, and we were looking for the
Right.
infirmary.
You can definitely try to play it that way. Um,
You could always say that somebody else caught them or in the act, and
yeah, I
they.
mean, if
Okay.
you're
Okay.
gonna lie, like you got
Here's
options.
here's here's a question. How well are the security staff paid?
This group is pretty intense.
They're pretty what?
Pretty intense.
Okay, so probably can't buy them all. Um, I don't know. Uh, Frank, you got any ideas?
I mean, how many ways are there in and out of this hold?
Like I said, there's no set answer right now. If you can
Okay.
think of a reasonable sort of exit, we'll have a draw and see how it works. If you'd like, you could do like a survey to kind of check out the room and see what's going on.
Yeah, if
That
we
seems like
like
a good
heard
idea.
them, yeah, if we heard them coming from one direction, we'd try and survey for an exit on the other
Yeah, so I'll give you
direction.
this for free. You know they're coming the way that you came.
Okay.
So
I
yeah,
have
yeah, you guys
I
probably
have
don't.
2 pips in survey, so I would be decently good at that.
Sure, give us a survey.
So I draw 2 cards.
Yep.
Pair of Kings,
Nice.
Hey,
3 of a kind. Aces
Jeez.
Wild, 3 of a kind.
So one of the things we've been wondering about in design is how often our hand's going to pop up. Answer: pretty good. On three of a kind. Um, let's see. So what? I'll let you choose because rules are still a little volcanic now. Um, would you rather have increased potency, which means it works even better, or would you rather get 2 chips back?
Oof. Let's let's what I don't know. What do you guys think?
how many chips do you have? I
I
mean,
only have 1 chip.
maybe you need the chips then.
All right. Two chips. I want 2 chips back.
All right. Our ethereal dealer tosses you some chips. Um, I'm looking. Something else happens on a draw. I think it's under ante. Yep. Uh, each time someone successfully plays a hand, dealer gains a chip.
No.
All right. But yeah, that is ridiculously good. Um, I think what you spot is well, I'll let you decide, or I can give you a suggestion if you want.
Yeah, give me a suggestion.
I think there's a service elevator in here. I think it runs all the way through the ship, um, and yeah, you can just peace out.
Um, that's perfect. Let's do that. I'm going to point everyone that direction. Um, however, I'm going to, as they go, I'm going to motion to uh, Frank to help me real quick, and uh, we're going to just slide a box or some cargo overneath, over top of where the blood stains were, so that hopefully they aren't noticed. We're just gonna shuffle it a little to the side, over top of the blood, and we're gonna make for that service elevator too.
I do that thing.
I'm trying to think if there's anything worth rolling here.
Mm.
I don't think so. I think you already got your roll here.
Do like a finesse to employ
Well,
just to
here's the
cover
trade off
something.
I'll
I
give
don't.
you. Either you cannot roll, and it works reasonably well, but it's still going to kind of look a little bit out of place. Or, yeah, you can use finesse to try to camouflage it a little more convincingly.
I've got 1 pip in finesse.
Same.
Um, um,
So I really only have like 2 skills that I have any dots in, right?
no, you
Um,
should have more.
You start out with 3 dots by default, and then you get another that you can put wherever you want.
Yeah, I thought I saw that you had. Nope, you hadn't. Okay.
I didn't choose a starting build, did I?
No, you did not.
However, you're not allowed to put more than 2 dots in something.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, I'm also definitely noticing that I missed something here.
But yeah, I'm good with just letting it work. And dealing with potential consequences unless you want to take a gamble.
Yeah, I'll take a gamble.
Once you decide what you want to put your pips in, your three bonus pips.
So I got 3 of them.
Yep, I think because
No, it's 4. It's
4.
3 you start with, and then
yeah, and then you get 4 bonus. Gotcha.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
your
I've got
3 are already
7
put
pips.
in.
Okay.
So just for the sake of convenience, I would say grab one of the starting builds, and I think I have fixed them now. Yes. You don't have to change your ability. You just grab one of the stat spreads.
Gotcha. So we'll do this one here. All right.
All right. So it looks like you have 1 pip in finesse now. So go ahead and roll. Or draw.
Meh, meh.
Oof. The good news is you do get to mark experience. So the experience for that goes on prowess.
What is that marketing experience?
So
Those
you
little bookmark looking
yeah,
things.
where it says prowess, and then when you fill it up, you'll be able to raise one of your pips.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
Wait, are we supposed to do that every time we draw?
that's when you fail.
Only if you fail.
Uh, I've not been doing that.
Huh.
Yeah, we've been getting mixed success usually.
I think I failed once or twice last time, but
Oh, sorry.
that's
Wait,
okay.
hold on. It's not on a fail. It's when you roll risky. Double check myself, but I'm pretty sure
Or
that's
some other
right.
game where if you failed, you got
Yeah,
something.
Monster of the Week is on a fail. Sorry, it's when you roll desperate.
Okay.
So I don't think anyone has rolled desperate so far.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Yeah. So woof. So yeah, I'll here's a thing that you can do. So when there is a fail, sometimes you can repeat the roll at a worse situation. So I'll give you this choice. Either this just goes badly, and it's just not very successful, or you can take another shot at it, but if you fail on this one, security is going to catch up to you.
No, we book it.
All right. So it is not very convincingly hidden. Basically, there's like a
I push
couple.
the
Weird.
pile of boxes and it just kind of falls over.
Yeah, there's just a couple of lighter. I mean, it probably looks very confusing now because it kind of looks like
Right.
the boxes fell on someone that got really hurt, but then they vanished.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good. That's good. We can work with that.
Right.
so yeah, you all book it. You still had a great survey roll, so you know where to go. Um, what I will say though is this is increasing pretty dramatically. Bad thing number two. But you managed to evade security here. Where would you like the elevator to spit you all out?
Um, infirmary level for the injured guys. Uh, for me, is there a way for me to draw and see if I get a sense of heat or danger or anything like that?
Yeah, this would probably be a survey.
All right, let's draw a survey. Um, much less good than last time. I got a 30, and that was my high card.
Woof.
Yeah, I drew a 2 and a 3. So
All right.
so 3.
So this finishes our bad things clock.
Just
Um,
surveying to try and feel how much heat is on me.
yeah, that's how it works. I don't roll. I don't
Doomsday
draw.
clock.
So like when y'all screw up, that's when bad things happen. And especially on a full miss, that's when really bad stuff starts to happen.
Uh,
Hey.
I
So
thought I was just gonna
All
be unaware of things.
we
I
get
didn't
an idea.
realize it was going to make something happen.
nope, that's the trade-off. So in D&D, you can screw up a roll and nothing bad happens because the bad stuff is going to happen regardless. Here, there is no not no, but the worst stuff doesn't happen on its own. It happens when you all fail a roll. So I think this all sort of dovetails neatly together. Uh, so I think maybe so the players, the characters don't see this, but we sort of cut away, and we see a group of black uniformed security guards, identical uniforms to the one you saw on the guard in the hallway earlier. Like a half dozen of them come ripping into the room just as the elevator doors close. They don't manage to see it. They're distracted by this pile of boxes with conspicuous blood smears leading out from it. They start checking it out. Um, Here's where it gets really bad. One of those shots was a through and through. So one of them finds a slug, like half buried, in like the side of a crate. They know based on the sound and what they have found that someone was shooting guns in here. So they are now on much higher alert than they were before.
Oh crap! And I have no sense at all that this has happened. So, um, I'm gonna turn to the people that I'm still with. I'm gonna say, well, crisis averted for now. Back to the lounge. And I'm gonna go see if that scotch I left is still there.
Mm.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
just so you are aware, Colin, out of character. My man's vice is luxury, and he is very much enjoying his time aboard this cruise cruise ship pretending to be a high roller.
So yeah, you drop off the injured Mitchells at a sort of ship infirmary. You all sort of make it back up. I'll go ahead and tell you, you definitely notice security is, it's sort of like kicking an anthill. There is noticeably more movement.
Oh, one thing we haven't really left the scene yet necessarily, can we have Larry sort of stay with them so that if they try anything else, he can tip us off?
Do you want him to follow sneakily?
No, he's helping take them to the infirmary. He's sort of got one of them. He's sort of got his arms under one of them, carrying him, helping him walk, while Lionel has his arms under the other one, helping him walk, sort of. But I'd just be like, Larry, keep an eye on them.
So
And
here's what I'm going to
then
have you do. We're going to do a fortune roll for Larry. So just go ahead and grab. We're going to do a draw. So CJ, just grab a card out of my deck, and let's see what Larry gets here.
Jack.
Well, that's all right. So yeah. Um, so Larry has some good luck here because Larry drops off the Mitchells, manages to get sort of around the corner, and so he is close enough that he is able to hear when a group of pillar security guards rush the infirmary and immediately take these two guys with obvious bullet wounds into custody.
Okay. Um, I'd still, well, I mean, he can do what he wants since I didn't really specify. But if Lionel hasn't been taken into custody, I'd love for him to stick close to Lionel just in case.
Yeah, I think that he can kind of follow. Lionel knew not to go in with them. Lionel is smart, and this is hey, fun fact, real world thing. Most hospitals have to report bullet wounds.
This is true.
So yeah, Lionel has kind of booked it out of there. Larry is kind of gently following in the distance.
Yeah, I basically just don't want him to sneakily do something to us. So you don't really need any specifics of what he's doing. I just want to make sure he's not going to be able to sneak up on us.
Cool. Here's something else I'll tell you. This would be a great place for Jerry to do something, our technician. One element of Aces Wild in Blades in the Dark, there's sort of the magical element of the game. There are spirits and devils and all kinds of magical and supernatural things going on. In Aces Wild, that element of the game is largely replaced by the technological layer. So Jerry has all kinds of options on how to keep an eye on Lionel without him even knowing. Can you think of a way that you would like to keep an eye on him?
I know ever since I've gotten here, I've been trying to get, uh, records on like the layout of the ship and like get into their camera security system.
Yeah. So give me a. I think we'll even call this a. Maybe we can call this a flashback. Give me a tinker draw. Yeah, give me a tinker draw This is just risky standard.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that is two face cards. Um, that is a full success. You are just in their camera system now. Until one of them figures out how to kick you out, probably because of a bad draw. Just assume you can kind of see any part of the ship you want to. So you can just kind of follow Larry, or sorry, you can follow Lionel on the camera indefinitely. All right. So what do y'all want to do?
Would Larry would alert us to the fact that the security guys grabbed the two injured dudes and maybe seem on edge.
Um, yeah, I think with you having the camera access, you would be able to know what had happened.
Okay. I'm guessing I don't know. I don't know if it's riskier to try and like use the bathroom stall as our tech base or to try and sneak back up. I mean, I guess if we leave the bathroom, it's probably somewhere a common area anyways.
I mean, you probably got a room.
That's true, yeah. So we'll probably just nonchalantly head back to the room and or I can get my like laptop out and do some more computery stuff.
All right, so you're able to sort of ensconce yourself in the room. You have all your tech set up with your man in the chair ability. You basically don't have to leave the room at this point. You can hack whatever you want remotely. Again, until someone in the ship, security, or IT figures out what's going on and shuts down your current avenue of access.
Yes. Or whoever that mystery person was that tried to backhack me before.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, what do the rest of y'all want to do?
What's our goal here? Are we just trying to stay undetected until?
We can meet up with the buyer.
Yes, that was my understanding.
Yes. You've got to work out the handoff with the buyer, get it into their hands, and receive payment.
And this whole thing went down like really quick after boarding. We basically got to our rooms, and before we could even do anything, we got uh, a notification that from a tracking piece that we put on the paintings that it was being moved, and we were like, that shouldn't be happening, and we went down to investigate. So we probably, I mean, how long have we been on the ship? Maybe an hour at this point.
Maybe a couple hours. Your impression is that it seems like the Mitchells were basically trying to get in, get it, and get off before the ship even leaves port.
Yeah, so we haven't really even left port, or if we have, just barely.
Okay,
So
but we've kind of dealt with that issue
yeah, I guess.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we realized the issue was happening last session, and then this session we've dealt with it, I guess. um,
We have
yeah,
other
yeah.
now,
At
but
this
yeah.
at this point, you are as caught up as we are.
All right. And are we trying to like actively hide from everybody on the ship, or is us walking around not really a big deal?
Yeah, we are posing as guests, or at least I am. I I don't know if other people have bodyguards or if you guys are posing as guests as well.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like there's celebrities, there's politicians, like there's a lot of people with bodyguards, a lot of like generally just fancy people around.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely posing as a guest. Um, I don't
Mhm.
know what you guys decided to do, but I'm posing as guest.
Yeah, I thought Larry and Frank were kind of posing as, yeah, Wiley's bodyguards.
Well, do you want me to kind of stick by you then as a bodyguard, or I could try and prowl around and keep an eye on the art
Yeah,
collection or something?
I think um I think Greg Jerry has an eye on the art because he's got the tracking device in it. So
Got
if anything happens to it, he should be able to inform us that something's going on. Um, so if you wanted to, you don't have to stick like right by my side, but if you wanted to be in like the same room, that would probably be good. Um, but now that I know that the security's heightened and everything like that, I think I would try to accelerate things and start actively looking for the buyer. Even if we weren't supposed to meet until day two or something, I'm like, ooh, this is getting hot already. We need to the quicker I can get the money and release responsibility, the happier I will be. So yeah, I'm gonna start actively looking for the buyer. Because we have a description of him, right? He's like a
Yes.
fairly well known lawyer.
Yeah, I'd even go so far as to say is that he is like a well-known sort of underworld figure. He always manages to skirt the edge of legality. But yeah, you've maybe even interacted with him before. It's Dalton Dellin. He is a shady lawyer.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking for Dalton.
All right. That how are you? What mechanism are you going to use to look for him?
Well, if Greg's got a hacker room already set up, um, I guess the first thing I would ask him to do is check the ship log and see if and ensure that Dalton actually boarded the ship.
So I'll just this is just a gimme. You've already got access. He's definitely on the ship.
Okay, like that. I just wanted to make sure, like, he wasn't killed offshore, and now we're gonna get like, uh, so he's on the ship.
You caught my twist.
So yeah, I'm gonna do my best to continue blending in. Go back to the lounge, try and find the scotch I left there, though I'm not very hopeful. Um, but I'm gonna put in a show, and I'm gonna try and feign being casual, even though I'm much more on edge now. But I'm gonna spend a handful of minutes in the room and then act like I want to go gamble, and then move on to a different room of the ship, and make little excuses to not stay along every time, just looking to see if I run into Dalton anywhere.
So here's what I'll say. This sounds like a hunt draw. But what you could do is, if you want to let someone else take the lead, you could assist them.
Yeah, if someone else is better at hunt, that would be good because I have no pips.
I have one in that.
Oh,
Oh, I know. Uh, Greg, if you have access to security cameras and stuff, can you be looking out for him on security cameras? And if you notice him, maybe tip us off?
yeah, I was gonna suggest, yeah, that I could probably. I don't know if I have any kind of like facial recognition software I could use to speed up that process.
So this is one of those cases where there's a couple of different attributes you can use for something. What I'll tell you is Hunt is going to be the most effective. It's sort of tailor made for this. However, with the sort of tech setup you have, you could potentially substitute maybe survey instead.
True. Okay. Should I use two chips or just draw lines?
Uh, I don't know. How lucky are you feeling?
Right. Um, too risky. I'll get two chips. That way I can draw twice. Oh, we didn't need to.
Nice. That is a full success. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and kill this clock. You spot him using your surveillance setup. Um, you're able to pick him out. Um, I don't think I've described him before. He's sort of a. It looks like he's maybe like late 40s, early 50s. Dark hair, but cut very short and basically like bald 3/4 of the way back. Um, Finely dressed, but not in a like celebrity luxury kind of way. He still sort of radiates a "I'm on my way to court," and I think you find him. He is at a card table off the main floor.
um, we make our way there.
Yeah, so it's not terribly difficult to go find it. Essentially, there's a large, like, central gambling area with different little lounges off to the side. And it's sort of on the opposite side of where you were drinking earlier. There's another room with just some small card tables, more sort of intimate games, still some dealers, but even a few looks what looks like just sort of like casual home game style. And you see Dalton with a couple of other people, just putting in a few hands of like I don't even think it's hold'em. It's like 5 card draw. They're clearly just sort of goofing around. How do you want to approach him?
Um, I don't want to make a beeline for him. I want to. Uh, are there other things in the room, like a bar and whatnot?
Yeah, this is one of those places where like every single room has its own bar and
Yeah,
bartender.
I would go and order a drink at the bar, and then sort of like walk around like I'm looking at other tables, and I'd pause at one or two just to see, like, like I'm trying to judge how lucky I'd feel at this table or whatever. Um, before eventually making my way to Dalton's table, where I would try to sit relatively close to him so we could have a bit of a whispered conversation or potentially pass notes or something like that.
Yeah, so you're able to sidle up to the table. Pretty casual game. You get the impression at least some of the people he's playing with are maybe his staff, and it seems like he's basically been waiting for you. He's a pro though. He doesn't really break stride. He's still playing his hand, and he just sort of like casually whispers, um, um, well, I'll ask this first. Do you think Shep and Dalton have worked together before?
I think Shep's worked with just about everyone to some capacity. I don't get the feeling that Shep has worked directly for Dalton. Um, but I feel like we've run across each other a handful of times.
Yeah. As you sort of get settled, Dalton says, sort of out of the corner of his mouth, uh, "Long time no see, Wiley."
Uh, yeah. When was that again? It's been a long time. I feel like, and I'm getting too old to remember all this. Um, and yeah, just have a little bit of banter with him, but basically indicate that hey, we're here and security's tightening up. It might be a good idea to make this deal now. The longer we hold out, the tougher this might be. Do you want to do it here, or or do you have somewhere we can do this a little more privately?
So still kind of sort of sotto voce, sort of whispering here. Um, a little bird tells me that Pillar has really tightened up security on the hold. Do you have a plan on how to move the case?
Do you need to move it? I thought maybe I could just give you the luggage claim tag here, and when the ship pulls into port, you just grab it instead of me. Easy peasy.
He says that might have been the case, but now there's too many eyes. They're going to be paying attention to cargo out of that hold. If you can provide some kind of distraction, my associates can move the case to a safer location, and you all can wash your hands of it.
How long do you need to get your associates in place?
He just sort of smiles and says, "They're already ready."
What 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 time is it, give or take?
I think that we'd established that this was sort of a strange, like, evening takeoff, because it has sort of a red carpet gala energy to it. I think it's probably 9 or 10 o'clock.
Um, do I know? Did we have? I would assume that the ship gives like an itinerary of different events and things happening on it. Um, on that itinerary, are there any large events that might draw a crowd, specifically tonight? Like any opening ceremony or anything for the tournament?
Yeah, I think that there's a. Um, I think that there's probably a party of some kind to sort of set it off.
All right. Um, I'd tell him an hour after the party starts, we'll make something happen.
All right.
And now I need to confer with my crew and discuss what that might be. So I excuse myself from the table and I motion for Frank to follow me, and we go to the room that Greg's got set up.
All right. So you go to sort of reconvene. You've set a time. I think at this point we're sort of in a sub heist. Our new heist at this point is create a distraction without getting caught. So, what is your plan?
I don't know. That's why I wanted everybody together so we could discuss it.
All right. So you're all together. What kind of distraction would you like to create?
My character was going to suggest he could always set off the fire alarm.
Yeah. So you could theoretically do something technological that draws a lot of attention. Any other options?
I mean, could we actually set off like set an actual fire so that the security has something to find?
Find the kitchen and do like grease.
Yeah, like actually get a fire going on, and then security can find it, and they also have to spend time actually putting it out.
I like that.
I feel like our first shirts just came together. Arson. It's always an option.
Channeling the spirit of our original.
So I definitely don't want to do any more gunshots or anything if we can help it.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, as a distraction, like I don't want to fire guns into the air when they're looking for people with guns. If it has to happen, it has to happen. But
Do fireworks.
um, I'm trying to see if there's any item that might end up being useful.
Well, here's what I'll tell you too. If you want to have a flashback to when you brought fireworks on board earlier, you're welcome to do that.
Just
Um, no, I mean, I don't know why I would have thought to bring fireworks.
yeah, and
Like I can't justify it. It would just be like me being like, oh yeah, this would be fun to have. um,
I mean, here's how the dynamic of the game works, though. Assume that your character is much more imaginative and far-sighted than you are. Making moves that seem nonsensical when they're made, knowing that the payoff later will be XYZ. Like maybe Shep went, I might need a distraction, and bring on board a crate of smuggle on board fireworks.
Yeah. Again, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, droid.
How far out into the ocean is the ship going? You said we are basically following the coast, but like how deep into the ocean? Like, can we still see land,
You're
or
probably like international waters kind of distance. So like you probably can't see the shore very well, but you're not actually that far from it.
okay? I guess my question is the boat I stay on, Vitamin C.
Uh
Could
huh.
it potentially be following us,
It absolutely could.
or are we too far out at sea for that?
No, I think you absolutely could do that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's board.
So yeah, we could have had another member of a crew on my boat following us with a bunch of different stuff, and we could maybe communicate to him in some way. Does that open up any ideas for anyone? I don't want to have the boat like ram us or anything, because number one, it's my home, it's where I live. But number two, I was thinking maybe it could be a getaway boat if we needed it
Yeah, I was
desperately.
So I would say that yeah, you can absolutely create a distraction from them. You could,
Yeah, let's just use a flashback with no better ideas. Let's go with the fireworks thing, and maybe at the same time uh, get get Greg to start the fire alarm or set off the sprinklers or something. That way there's two things going on that are unexpected.
yeah. So let's do some draws. Um, do some draws. So let's see. So you're setting off these fireworks. Um, yeah, I feel like having the ship follow you, not really that wild of a thing to do. Um, I'm gonna say I do want one token from someone for stalking a bunch of fireworks as a flashback.
I'll give it.
All right. Um, so yeah, you've got some of your crew is manning the boat. You've got these fireworks set up, just because you knew you might need a distraction. Um, I'll even give you a step further here. Uh, what if you don't set the fireworks off from the boat? What if you have them on like a little raft or dinghy, and you can send it up one side of the boat and send your boat to the other side?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I didn't want to have them. I didn't want to have my boat setting it off for sure. Because I want to keep it hidden. It was more of just a idea if we needed it. Um, should I mark a load of like demolition tools or something for the fireworks?
I don't think so because you're not carrying them on your person.
Okay,
Because if you were just marking load for them, you could just mark load for it.
gotcha.
But that wouldn't actually help you because then you have the explosives on you. Although you could still do that to go start the fire if you want to.
Uh, no, I don't think we want to actually start a fire
Cool.
anymore. If I think the fireworks will be the physical distraction, and then the alarm will just be to sort of double down and hopefully confuse people.
Cool. So
Um,
I think this is going to put a lot of pressure on Jerry to time this out correctly.
um, in addition, I'd like to discuss before we go through and do things, discuss where each of us will be while all this is going on. Um, Jerry in his room getting ready to set off the alarms. Um, Frank, could you be in charge of getting the fireworks set off?
Aye, aye.
And then I think that I might be with Dalton so that he can confirm that they've gotten the paintings and he can pay me and we can be done ASAP. Like as soon as he's got we get confirmation he's got it, he hands me the money or whatever it is he's paying me in, and we're out.
All right. But you're not literally escaping the boat.
No, no, I just want to be able to say I've got it. We're done. We can enjoy the rest of our time here. But I would do want my boat to continue to follow us in case we need that escape.
Cool. All right. So in Blades in the Dark fashion, we're going to cut off our planning there, and we're just going to put this to a roll. I think we're going to put this to probably a tinker roll to coordinate this on setting off the fire alarm. And this is also going to kind of stand in for how well this is all going to kind of line up for you. So we have sort of imagine sort of a split screen. Our screen divides into three parts. There's sort of like a slash angle, and we see Shep sitting at a table with Dalton, sort of looking off one side of the ship. No one else is looking that way. It's just empty ocean right now. Maybe you're on like a deck lounge, so you have like outside, you're closer to it for cinematographic purposes. We have Frank. Frank, where are you to sort of set off the fireworks?
To set off the fireworks. Gonna be on the main deck.
All right. So you're there. Jerry's in the room. We see one of your compatriots. We're going to call him Mo. Mo is piloting the ship. He has stopped it. There's no running lights, which is super illegal. It's not supposed to even work that way. You have your running light. He has the running lights turned off, and he's sort of finishing this like awkward cobbled together raft. Maybe Jerry worked on it some beforehand. And Mo is putting the last few things in place, and then he just like shoves it off the back of the boat, and a little motor starts to, and it propels itself out to that side of the ship, while the boat goes the other way. So we see Frank on the deck looking out at the water. You've got like classic, like simple big red button remote with like an antenna on it. So let's get a roll from Jerry. Let's see how this goes.
Tinker roll.
Yep, give me a tinker draw. We have an 8 and a 6. Well, this is perfect. This is a mixed success. So we see sort of simultaneously you all count down in some way. Maybe you've got your phones and it's just a simple like signal app, like it goes from blank screen to like flashing red. So at the same time, Jerry, you hit the fire alarm, and Frank, you hit the fireworks. Fireworks burst off of the side of the ship, drawing everyone's eye. Everyone's distracted. The crew is super confused. There's a lot of energy of like, nobody tells me nothing. So the fireworks are going off, but suddenly on the lower decks, the fire alarm starts going off. People start running and panicking. There is a moment of confusion. Jerry, you see on your cameras as the guards who are in the hold are pulled away, and they go to investigate this phantom fire breaking out in the lower sections of the ship. And you see very professional the sort of bodyguards who are sitting at the table with Dalton. They rush down there. They grab the case. In rapid fire, they have transferred it to a different empty crate. They expertly strip it of all of the bugs and trackers and things that Jerry put on it, and the paintings are now settled into a different crate, which has not been implicated in an awful shooting. However, Jerry, something on your one of your assorted hacking devices starts to flash red. Lines of script start to appear, and you realize that some kind of firewall protocol has gone into play. You are suddenly locked out of the system. At the same time, actually, I'll say this. You've got the cameras still for a second. You suddenly see several of the guards stop, like they're listening to their headpieces, and then they all start to move. And a second later, your control of the cameras goes out. Someone has flagged you all, and Pillar Security is moving to find you. What do you all want to do? Fireworks are still going off. Fire alarm is still happening. But you also know that your time is now limited.
Well, since the other guy has the paintings now, pay us.
Yeah, Dalton's professional. He just smiles and gives you sort of a firm handshake. I think that money doesn't actually physically change hands. I think something happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does he give us like a card, or is just a money transfer, and I watch him do it?
Yeah, he just puts in a button, presses a button on something. One Cayman Island account transfers to another. You all get paid. Kaylee gets paid. So now you've been paid, but also you're in trouble. What do y'all want
I was
to do?
going to say I'd probably come in. Guys, I've flagged about.
Say that again.
I know I need to get.
This is some real method role playing. Jerry's radio is being
feels too real.
Jerry's radio is being blocked by some kind of signal jammer. You managed to catch. They're coming. They're looking for you. We need to go now.
And since we already have our getaway vehicle,
Yeah. Gosh. They know who we are.
Your
Uh,
guess is that they were able to wind back the cameras.
Okay.
Just to sort of set our scene. So we have this sort of sentimental music playing, sort of triumphant sentimental music as the fireworks go off, as we watch the money transfer, and we went down to silence for a minute. We see this scene happening with Jerry as he realizes what's happening, and now we've gone to some like up tempo, like intense like swing
yeah.
pursuit music.
So yeah, so I'm packing up my gear and getting ready to
Right, yeah,
move.
I'm gonna signal for. We have my boat there, but how do we get off without them following the boat? Um,
Yeah, I don't know if they have any like life rafts or anything on this boat. That
if we
yeah,
take them, then they'll know we've gone overboard and look for my boat.
just, I wasn't sure if we could use one life raft as like a distraction decoy, and then use a different one to.
Um, so can we? Um, all right, I got it. I got it. We're Can we do another flashback where we one of the suitcases we brought aboard is full of uh, life jackets and flashlights, and we can all put on a life jacket and flashlight and just jump overboard and wait for the cruise ship to sort of pass us by before using the flashlight to flag down my boat.
Yeah. So we're gonna need some draws for this.
So yeah, I would say like over the radio, like everybody get their life jacket and flashlight, um, and try to meet on the opposite side of the boat from the fireworks. But nobody goes overboard alone. We go together, stay together. No one needs to get lost in the ocean. That's a terrible way to go.
All right. So you all are on three separate parts of the ship. What sort of actions are you taking to gather together and get off the ship?
Well, yeah, so I think yeah, we're getting our. Well, I guess, or if the life jackets are all in the room, then I guess they'd be coming to me,
You could
and then
bring
we,
them.
or I could bring them. Yeah,
That way we
true,
don't have to come to you and then there. We could all
true.
just
Yeah,
meet
we all
directly
yeah
there.
agree to meet.
Yeah, bring the suitcase, as much as stuff as you can to save, but if you need to leave stuff, leave it. You can always buy more stuff.
Nothing that can be traced back to.
Yeah, this is definitely not the first time that you've had to bail on a heist like this. So most of your stuff is either throwaway or you can like collapse it back down into a backpack pretty
Yeah.
quick. So you've got that. You've got like a rolling suitcase behind you. What sort of action are you taking to safely get off the ship?
Hmm. Push.
You've got to sort of get through some halls where people are going to be looking for you. They
Yep.
might not know exactly. They might not know exactly what you look like specifically.
Well, I did attract attention here earlier. That might have been different people. I don't know.
Yeah, like one person spotted you, so you're not necessarily like immediately being chased
Recognize.
after, but you do
Yeah.
have to. How are you going to move through the halls? Are you going to try and look like you belong there? Are you going to stealth? Are you going to do something techie? What's the plan?
Um, I'd say initially, since other people are probably kind of panicking too with fireworks and fire alarm, I'll probably kind of just look like I'm hurriedly trying to get away from the danger or whatever, or what I would, like what a normal person would perceive as danger.
All right. I think that this is probably going to be. Prowl would be the more obvious move. I'm willing to take finesse at lesser effect. Which do you prefer?
Hmm.
I've got a decent prowl.
Well, I have to do it because
There
I'm
we go.
bummed.
Yeah, so to give you perspective, the way we're doing this is I've thrown a clock up, a 6-part clock that says Escape the Marianne. Each of you is going to get a chance to sort of do something to get closer to escaping. And once you fill up that clock, you have made it off.
So yeah, I'm doing a finesse roll. Oh,
All right. Fantastic. So that's a full success. I'm going to say that it's going to give you 2 successes. You manage to sort of, you're not necessarily sneaking, you're just sort of weaving your way in and out of the sort of milling, confused crowds. So you're pretty well managing to make it through the halls. You have a little bit further to go than the others, but you're also not under as much scrutiny yet. What does Frank do?
I mean, I guess if I'm on the top of the deck, I don't have the least distance to go. So I'm mostly trying to just blend in and or kind of hide in the shadows and search or wait for the rest of everybody to get to me.
All right,
I
then
would suggest
let's.
tossing the radio thing that you use to set up the fireworks into the ocean. Just so if they don't find it on you.
Yeah, that wouldn't take anything. So let's do. That sounds like a prowl draw. You're trying to avoid attention and sort of stay out of everybody's way while you wait for the others.
So if I've got 2 dots, that'd be 2 cards.
Yep. All right. Face card. Full success. That is going to be 3. So you only have 1 section left. Yeah, you managed to sort of tuck yourself back behind some of the different apparatus on the deck of the ship as a group of like guards go by. Then you do sort of you like pull out the giant newspaper and you're looking at it as more of them go by, and you manage to remain unseen. What is Shep doing? You're next to Dalton. Dalton has just paid you. You know that something's coming. You've made the plan. What's your move?
Um, how far am I from the meet point?
It's sort of abstract. What's the sort of action you want to take, and it'll help determine how close you get.
Well, Shep really wants to taste that scotch again. He had his heart set on it. Um,
Goes back for the scout.
We'll say if you do well on whatever this draw is, you're able to like just grab a bottle, uh, like
and book
from
it.
yeah, from a distracted bartender, because there's still fireworks happening. This is like a huge
Right.
Okay.
elaborate
Okay.
thing.
Yeah. 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 That's gonna. I'm gonna use that as my bonus. Bonus for job well done.
All right.
Um, but once I'm gonna try and grab it and get out of the room really quickly. But once I'm out of the room, uh, I'm gonna walk quickly but confidently. I don't think they know me yet. Um, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they would recognize me. But I'm gonna basically just act like I belong. Like I'm just yeah. If I see security guards, I might try and sort of take another hallway or sort of hide my face like I'm reading something. But yeah, I'm not gonna run like a panic, but walk quickly and confidently towards the meat place.
So I will let you decide what kind of action you think this is.
Um, Probably survey because that's the one I have two pips in.
I think we need a little more ethical whatever here.
Or
Um,
subterfuge.
What
I would
sounds like the actions you described?
honestly of the ones we have probably prowl.
So I'll give you the same deal. I'll let you do finesse at lesser effect because you only need one to get through. You can just kind of maneuver your way
And
through the crowd.
if I go to 0 chips, I'm out,
You are out of the heist.
so I can't spend both. Okay. Um, all right, yeah, let's do finesse so that I don't have to do with disadvantage. A 7.
All right, that was all you needed. That is going to bump it up to that finishes the clock. So your complication is you you're darting through the crowd. You spot the exact bottle you want to steal, and you're getting close. It's on the way, and you see some guards in the pillar uniforms start coming by, and you know that if you go for that bottle, you are going to be right in their path. And so, heartbreakingly, you have to steer around them and leave the bottle behind.
Oh,
No
that
scotch
is
free.
that is very tough for me.
So you all convene at the edge of the ship, um, and very quickly you bust open this sort of rolling suitcase. Inside, you grab the sort of life jackets. You've got sort of a climbing kit, I would say, that you're able to use, and with practiced efficiency, you all are able to sort of lower yourselves down the side of the ship. It's very nerve wracking, but you have the right gear. It makes it sort of idiot proof. And you're able to sort of lower yourself down into the water. It is frigid cold, but at least Jerry's bag is waterproof, so you don't destroy all your tech. You lower yourselves into the water, and with like a flick snap, you manage to loose the rope up above and bring the whole apparatus down behind you. And like ghosts, you all vanish into the waters, and the Marianne leaves you all behind, carrying Dalton and the Mangianello collection off to its new home, as well as the two Mitchell family members in the care of the guards, and a very pissed off Lionel Mitchell plotting his revenge. But that's a story for another time. This was an 8 coin score. So that's going to be We'll say two for each of you and two for the crew stash. Pretty substantial haul. Um, your boat picks you up, and you all ride the vitamin C off into the night. You're miles away before you turn lights back on, and for all intents and purposes, you have vanished from the Marianne.
Huzzah! We
Uh,
win.
so I think we see you all kind of returning to your Florida base. Not the ship itself, but your assorted homes and things. Recuperating. Shep, I think that after a couple days, a bottle of exactly the kind you were going to steal shows up in the mail with a note from Dalton that says, "With my regards for one of the true legends."
Dalton is now my favorite person.
Um, so you all are sort of enjoying your ill-gotten gains, and I think we cut away. We sort of zoom out from the Florida coast and we zoom back in over the city of Chicago. We see a cartoon of a man, an elderly man with a giant, eccentric mustache, completely bald head, but like a spray of white hair coming off, and it's all tucked under a sort of oversized Stetson. And the man is screaming and yelling at a pure brick house of a man. Even though he looks like he's not that much younger than Shep, this guy still sort of looks like a bodybuilder. And if Shep was here, he would recognize this as John Mitchell II, the current head of the Mitchell crime family. And Veldis T. Osbolin III is giving him the what for. In the background, maybe it's just sort of like pulling up. We see the injured Mitchell family members being led out of a car by Lionel. His expression is furious. And we sort of fade to black, knowing that the Pillar security group has seen at least some traces of your existence, which might cause complications later. But you are definitely on the radar of the Mitchell crime family, and they are not quick to let things go. So that is where we are going to end our two-part one-shot of Aces Wild. We'll be back to this system in the future. Lots of playtesting to come. Also, hopefully, going to be playing some in person so we can really feel these cards and chips. Thank you guys for trying out this truly hot off the press, two-thirds finished system. And thanks for any of the folks who are checking this out. And with that, I think we will say goodnight. Bye, Internet.
Bye, Internet.